Okay, well, welcome to the third video in this series of using Alexa in skilled purchasing in Python, I should add. In this, we've already seen the first two videos, the example of the skill running. We've seen how to create an in-skill product, and this time we'll just look at the breakdown of the code. So I've written all the code, and we'll just go through it. In this documentation here, I've got talked you through how we're going to build all this. This is where we've created the skill, and we're going to start somewhere down here with adding our code. Right, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just show you that we've got this in-skill product. It's called a paid-for joke. As you test it, you can reset your test purchases. So I'll just show you. Sorry, click the wrong one. Reset the test purchases. So I'll just reset all the test purchases, so I've not got any purchases at all. Okay, so we'll look at the code. And in the code, you'll see that what I've done is I've added some jokes. So I've got some Python code here that either gives us a free joke or some paid jokes. So that's the first thing we need to add to our code. We do that by adding a new file and just cutting and pasting that. All the code for this is available either here or on the GitHub. So now the first thing we can do is obviously try that piece of code out. We can add speak output. We can just get some free jokes from the joke.py code and deploy and test it. And we can put that in the hello world intent handler and just say, here's a free joke. When we've got this running, I'm going to check whether the user's got access to a paid joke by saving it in the session handler. So what I've got here is I've just read the session attributes, and if there's paid jokes in the session attributes and it's set to true, then the user will have access to paid jokes and you can get a paid joke. I'll show you all that code in a bit later. If you want to test the paid jokes, of course, you can just set up the session attribute somewhere in your launch handler or somewhere and test it out that way. And you can check that you access the paid joke, so at least you know that the joke part of the skill is working. Okay, I've not really modified the default code that you get, the template that you get. So in fact, all the code for tell me a joke is really hidden under the hello world intent. So I also add a sample utterance of just tell me a joke to the hello world intent. So having done that, what we now need to do is to retrieve the available products from our code, get information on them. You set that up when you created the skill, and purchase them. Okay, to do that, we need to add an API client. And the first thing you need to do is to add this ASK SDK into your requirement.txt file. So we can look at that, just show you what's there. And I've just added that line there on that. Oh, we don't need joke.py anymore. Okay. Also, we're now going to change, instead of just the standard skill builder, we're going to need, sorry, just the skill builder, we're going to need the standard skill builder at the end of our code. So I'll just show you where we've changed that. All the way down here. Yes, we are going to go through most of this code. So I've just commented out that skill builder line and added the standard skill builder. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to add the imports to do all the monetization bits for us. So things that would get the entitled state of the product, the purchasable state of the product, the products that are available, and so on. So I've added all that at the top of the code, and I've also added these three functions, which we'll use later: the in-skill product response, the get all titled entitled products, and the speakable list of products. That's used throughout the code. I've also added the skill name. If you look at use the in-skill product, the response from that provides information about the product. or products. So for instance, in this product that we've got here, we can say whether it's entitled or not, whether the user's purchased it or not. The product ID itself, which is we'll need a couple of times, whether it's available for purchase, and what mode we're in, whether we're in test mode or not, and the reference name. As of before, remember you need to give that quite a sensible name. Note the entitlement reason, we'll use these later. If you want to see what the products you've got, there's a piece of code there that will show you just putting it out onto the loggers. Oh, I've got this commented out. This needs to be go. Okay, so we've got several scenarios. First of all, the user hasn't purchased access to paid jokes. We need to tell them what's available and ask them if they want to purchase. We've seen that in the example, if you looked at that video. The user's already got access to paid skills, so we can tell him a paid joke when asked. Or the user asks for paid jokes and either then confirms or declines. We'll see that as we go on. And finally, of course, the user might have paid membership or whatever, paid jokes, and wishes to cancel. So we'll do this a bit at a time. First of all, I changed the launch request. What we're going to do in the launch request is find out what the products there are, whether the user is entitled to them, and say whether he can, which ones he's entitled to or not. If not entitled, it just says, welcome to my skill. To hear a joke, you can say, tell me a joke. And we've seen that in the video. I don't want to run through all that again. Okay, there's an example here. You say John's joke skill, welcome to John's joke skill. That's obviously because of not entitled to anything, it just runs that piece of code. Okay, now let's add the product details. So we need two options. We need one to tell the user more about so the user can find out more about the product, and a purchase or an upgrade option. We need to add these intents. First of all, we add a tell more intent. And so we need to add that as an intent. You can either add that in the build by adding a tell me more intent in the build and the individual utterances, what can I purchase, what can I get, tell me more, what can I buy, and so on. Or you can just edit the JSON. If you do edit the JSON, just be careful that you might need a comma at the end of that there. So we'll just take a look at those. We'll just go to the build tab a minute. And we can see the interaction model, the intents, and these are all the intents. Here's my hello world intent. You'll see that that's where I've added the tell me more. Here's the tell me a joke. Here's the tell me more intent. And we'll see that we'll add a buy intent and a refund purchase intent in a bit. So back to the code. So currently our launch intent we've just seen our launch request there, and our tell me more intent. So what we need to do in our tell me more is to simply just send a request saying you can tell us, you can ask for more about information about the products, or you can say upgrade to purchase. I did just say buy to purchase, but when I said buy to my Alexa, she just said goodbye. So you can either say buy joke skill or whatever, buy more jokes or whatever, but don't use just buy on its own. If you have more than one product, you can get a list of them. Your code would be something like this. You loop through all the products. As I keep on mentioning, there is an Alexa samples kit in this, but it's a bit more detailed and of course doesn't talk you through like I'm doing. So we can save the model and deploy the code there. At this stage, you can say John's joke skill, welcome to John's Joke Skill. You type in what can I buy, and then it says you can upgrade to hear more jokes. So when we've got to that stage, we get to the stage where we can purchase the product. Let's add the buy intent. So again, add the buy intent, add it via using the wizard, or just add it using the JSON. So we've got let's buy it, upgrade, can I buy, purchase, I want to buy it, and so on. If you've got more than one product, you might want to say, let's buy whatever the product is, car, van, truck, pack, or whatever. Okay, again, that Alexa sample skill talks you through everything, and that's one of the problems with the sample skills. They do try to put everything in there. Okay, so let's add the buy code. We'll need two intent handlers here. One basically says let's purchase the product. That passes it all over to Amazon, which does all the work, and it responds with an event back to you, and you need a second piece of code to deal with that. So we need two functions here to do with that. We'll also need the product ID. We can get that from our monetize your skill, buy the skill product ID will give you there. Oh, this is slightly different. I've got a reference name of buy skill there. So the product ID is something like this, one of these long Amazon products there. We'll need to add the skill builder handler as before. In fact, we're going to add a few of these. So we need these request handlers to give me tell me more, the buy intent, the buy response, and we'll also see a refund and a cancel, all the rest, just the normal ones that we've got. Okay, so the code doesn't do much, actually. The buy intent doesn't do much. We'll need to paste your product here if you're copying these. But all it does is it says this send request directive to buy with our product ID. The tricky bit is that then all sorted out by Amazon, and we get some code back. If you just add that code and try running it, you'll get an error message. So we need to handle the response, and that will either come back with a purchase result, which will either be accepted, declined, already purchased, or some error. So we deal with all these cases. I'll just look at these. So firstly, if the purchase result is accepted, all we do really is just say you've bought access to more jokes, enjoy, you can ask for more jokes, because now we know that it's been accepted and we can get the information, the skill from reading the skill purchase stuff before, that we've seen before. I also, though, store it away and set up paid jokes true in the session attributes. Otherwise, if it's declined, error, or not entitled, so in other words, the user says no, or for some reason it can't be completed, you just get thanks for your interest, ask for another free joke. Or alternatively, you could already have purchased it and say, all right, you've already got it, we can just carry on. So if necessary, you want to try this out. If necessary, you can reset the purchases like I've shown you at the beginning of this. And then these are the options we get. If you say buy and say no, it just says thanks for your interest. If you say buy, or sorry, upgrade, I should say, and say yes, you've then got access to more jokes, and you can say tell me a joke. And here it says you've got a free joke, but I've corrected that code now. In this code, it just says you've got a paid joke. Or if you've already got it, you say, tell me a joke, try buying it. It just says, great news, you've already got. Well, here it says skill purchase, but paid jokes. Okay, yeah, here it says you're only getting free jokes. So I've actually upgraded the code now to give us paid jokes when we immediately we buy for it. Alternatively, there might be a failed purchase. You should check for that as well. and I just log something saying there's an error, and I log what the error is. So we can try that if you really want to. We can say test. We've seen this already before, but we can go through this. So John's joke skill.
Welcome to John's joke skill. Here's your free joke. Time flies like an arrow.
Tell me more.
You can upgrade to hear more jokes.
Upgrade.
Just say, upgrade. Thank you.
And
You've now got access to more jokes. Prime members say
no.
Okay. Thanks for your interest. Thank you. You've now got access to...
And if I say yes this time, we'll see that you have
successfully purchased paid jokes. You have bought the access to more jokes. Enjoy.
And if I say tell me a joke, I hopefully should get a paid joke.
Here's your paid joke. Today I gave my dead batteries away. They were free of charge.
And if I upgrade, it should tell me I've already upgraded.
Good news. You already have a paid joke.
Okay, and if I try a refund, I've got already written the refund code for this.
Check out the link I sent to your Alexa app.
So we can see that all that seems to work quite well. We'll just talk you through the refunds finally. So we need to add a new refund intent. So I've got a refund purchase intent, add the code. So we've got I want a refund, return goods, refund purchase, refund, and so on. Now it may sound a bit odd that you've got to add refunds for something that users already purchased and used, but that's part of the Amazon scheme. So we'll just add the refund code. Again, like the purchase, we'll have two handlers. One just sends a request directory of cancel, and then the second is your code to cover the handle response from the Amazon. So we add the skill builders add requests, and the refund purchase code is simply, we need to get the product ID, and we send a request directive with the cancel with the product ID. So that just sends the cancel request, right? Amazon does all whatever it needs to do. You can set the paid joke session attribute to false. And here's the code for it. We also check the decline, checking the refund, accepted and declined. So here we've got the purchase result is accepted. I suppose it's really a refund result, but anyway, we reset the session attributes. You've successfully cancelled, or if you don't have access and you try declining it, it says you don't currently have access to the joke. Okay, and we've seen the response in the code. Okay, so that's all the code. Let's talk you through it all. All the code is here, and I'll make all this available to you. For a more complicated version, you can see the Alexa samples, or for another walkthrough, a Node.js version, which I found very useful. Try this Alexa skills tutorial. And I think that's all we've got to say. So I'll make all this available, and I might even try an ASK CLI version. Hope you found that interesting.